Since that time, Michael, on June 25th, 2009, has left the grand stage of life and is not going to be doing any concerts on this reality of this plane anymore. But with me tonight is the daughter of one of the workers that worked at Neverland, and she's got a book coming out. I want to welcome, if you would please, welcome Lisa Brisse. Hello, Lisa.
Hello. Thank you.
Good to have you here. And this is the image of the book as it's going to appear?
Yes, that is the book cover.
And it's called what?
Michael Jackson, The Man in Our Mirror, a reflection of our collective soul.
Can we bring that CG up? There it is. There's a close-up. And this book is expected to come out. It's already written. It's in the layout stages now?
It's in the final editing stages, and hopefully we'll have it formatted by the end of July and maybe out by August. Cross the fingers.
Cross your fingers, it will be out. Now, why did you write this book? Why is it different from Aphrodite Jones' book called Michael Jackson, The Conspiracy, or all these other books people have written? What's unique about your book?
Well, number one, it's a personal memoir of what my journey has been with Michael, which started way back in the 80s. I was growing up in a small town in the Midwest, Minnesota, and I was a fan like Michael, like everybody else was at that time, and I started getting strong feelings that Michael was going to come into our family's life at that time. Now, when you're in a small town in the Midwest and he's, you know, the world's greatest superstar out there, and you're starting to get these feelings, you start to think, I know I'm not crazy, but these are strong feelings that keep coming to me. And I kind of suppressed them until it got so strong that I had to tell somebody, and I ended up telling my mom because I knew she was the only one that would probably believe that I wasn't totally out there.
And you and your mom are still living in the Midwest?
In the Midwest at this time. This was back in 1987.
And how did your mom take this revelation?
Well, my mom, who has always been open to other realms and, you know, everything in life, not just what we see here, she said, I guess we'll see.
Really? We'll see.
She did. And what began after that is what I call in the book the Michael miracles, which are these illogical, unexplainable, synchronistic events. One thing that led to another, that fast forward 5 years down the road, we were living here in the San Ynez Valley, and my mom ended up working for him at Neverland as one of his housekeepers.
And you were how old when she went to work there?
At that time, let's see, she went in 1993. I was 24.
24.
Yes. So the first part of the book is called From Minnesota to Michael, and it's the chapters of all these Michael miracles, these synchronicities that happened that eventually led to the improbable possibility of her working at Neverland. And just to give you one of the things that happened, after I had told her this back in Minnesota, it wasn't long after that that my mom had went to visit a friend in Sedona, and while she was there, she saw a psychic. And when she came back home after that trip, she came into my room one night and she had a cassette tape, and she said, I need you to listen to part of this tape. And she fast forwarded to the point in the session where this woman said to her, who doesn't know my mom from anywhere, she says to my mom, you have a daughter that you are very close to. And my mom said, yes. And she said, you two were sisters in a past life. And I'm sitting here at the age of 18 listening to this tape, and I'm like, okay, I'm open-minded, but all right, so I'm listening. And she says, continues on, and she says, and it was during the Renaissance time. And she says, and she's closing her eyes, and she says, and you knew another soul at that time. And she says, I keep getting the image of Michael Jackson. Does that mean anything to you? And this is just a few weeks after I had just told my mom, I don't know what it is, but I get a really strong feeling he's coming into our life. And my mom said, Well, my daughter just told me that she feels a familiarity with him and that he's
Wow.
going to come into our life one day. And the woman said, yes, he was a prince of a royal family back in the Renaissance, and you were a part of his circle at that time.
And this is in your book?
Yes.
In the first part of your book?
Yes.
You wrote all this out in your book?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Did you quote this psychic? Just the way the mother
Yes,
has the
yes.
Do you still have the tape?
Yes.
Wow, that'd have been so cool if you'd brought the tape in so we could play
We'll do another time.
Another time. Maybe after your book comes out?
Maybe after my book comes out, yes.
Wow.
So after this happened, this psychic tells her this, she's back in Minnesota. It wasn't, I don't remember what the timing was, but it wasn't long after that, and I was in the living room watching TV, and the TV show Entertainment Tonight was on at that time with John Tesh and Mary Hart, and I was sitting there, and all of a sudden they were talking about Michael touring in Italy, and they had mentioned that they had referred to Michael as a Renaissance man. And I called my mom into the room. I said, watch this. And we both sat there stunned, because basically they were just saying what she had just heard from this psychic.
This was what year?
This was in 1988.
Wow. And you weren't living here in the valley yet?
No, we were in a small town of 900 people called Richmond, Minnesota.
I've been there.
No, you haven't.
I have.
Really?
Yes. I went looking for a cousin up there, and I got lost and ended up in Richmond because a cousin lived south of Richmond, and I was in the wrong place.
Really?
Anyway, so what made the jump from Minnesota to here?
Well, as a kid, I always had a strong feeling about California. I would dream about Disneyland or Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse was one of my favorite characters, and I don't know what it was. I came out to California with my Aunt Diane when I was 16, and we just did a weekend in Los Angeles, went to Disneyland, and I just knew I needed to be here. It was just, California's my place.
And you were how old at that point?
16.
16?